Hello my charmed ones, and welcome back to my channel for another video. And if this is your first time with me, I'd like to say welcome. My name is Alexis, but I'm also known as MissTrenchcoat all across the internet. And I help ambitious women create the master plans for their successful lives and businesses. And we're going to be talking about a topic today that'll hopefully help you to do the same. So today I'm going to be chatting with you about 10 ways to motivate yourself to get things done when you don't feel like it. Does that feel a little bit familiar to any of you? Go ahead, raise your hand if you're watching this and you're definitely someone who has had something written on their to-do list, or they knew they had to do something and they knew what it was and they just thought, you know what, I don't feel like it. I'm guilty of this too, you guys, right? I'm not perfect by any means. So this is definitely something that I've struggled with as well. I mean, I struggle with it on and off, right? Even though I'm like a productivity guru, I still have these things that I struggle with. But thanks to the strategies that I'm going to share with you today, I actually know how to get myself to do things even when I don't feel like it. So I'm hoping that this video will inspire you the same and give you some wonderful strategies that you can use to make yourself do things even when you don't want to, okay? So to start off this conversation, we need to really determine the situation that you're in when you're faced with this task that you don't feel like doing, right? So there are a couple of different situations that you might be in. So the first situation is that the task that you may be having to do might be new. Okay, so if you're in a situation where the task that you have to do is new to you, it's not really something you're familiar with, you haven't done it before, and you're finding resistance and you're feeling like, oh, I don't feel like doing this right now. This is a very common situation. Essentially, your brain resists anything that's new, right? So that's the first thing that you're going to need to acknowledge, is that sometimes your brain is telling you and sending you signals not to do something or not to want to do something for the simple reason that it's something new, and anything new challenges your existing brain structure. And so whenever things are new to you, they usually are things that you have resistance to. We know this, it's science, okay? Now, what do you actually need to do then to overcome that hurdle? So the thing I would recommend doing in this case is to visualize yourself actually taking action on the thing. So in a way, we're talking about daydreaming here, right? Daydreaming often gets like a bad rap, but I want you to like rehearse this thing that you're about to do in your head. And rehearsing things actually in your mind is one way to actually get your brain to accept the task, right? As something that's not necessarily new because you've done it before in your mind. And this is the fun thing about your mind. Your mind cannot tell the difference between something you've actually done and something you've been thinking about doing or you thought about doing, right? Your brain does not really know the difference. So visualize yourself taking the steps to do the thing that you're having resistance to doing. And you may find that your brain will ease up and you will suddenly feel, okay, I'm now motivated to actually do the thing, okay? So that's strategy number one, something you're gonna use if the task is new to you. Okay, strategy number two here is, and situation number two, really, we're starting with the situations here, is let's say the situation is you feel tired or low energy, and that's why you don't feel like doing the task. Okay, so you have to ask yourself in this situation, how low energy are you? And how much energy is going to be expended or required for you to perform the task? So situation number one here, if you are so tired that you're really having trouble functioning, the first thing you need to do is replenish your energy. And so what I would recommend you do if you're very tired, right, is you need to do something like take a nap, right? When you're very tired, you really have trouble with cognitive functions and activities. And even if you tried to make yourself do the thing when you're very tired, it may turn out very poorly, right? Have you ever done something when you're really tired and then you went back and you're like, what was I thinking? Like, you weren't thinking, you were very tired. So if you're very low energy, you're essentially useless. Go take a nap. So this doesn't have to be anything complicated. You know, on my phone, I keep these brainwave apps, and one of them has like a 30-minute like nap function that has an alarm. So essentially I pop on my headphones, I put on my eye mask, I will lay down in bed or in the couch or make myself comfortable in a seat, maybe with my feet up or something like that. And I will turn on the meditation, and it's like brain waves, right? That are supposed to help you reset your mind. And if I can take the nap for 30 minutes, awesome. I usually wake up with the alarm, and I will, initially you feel groggy, but then you realize, oh wow, that replenished me. And then sometimes I will do that meditation and I won't actually fall asleep. Like I know I'm awake, but by having my eyes covered, closing my eyes and just sitting and relaxing for 30 minutes and listening to the Brainwave app, that ends up helping me to actually feel more rested. So I've had it both ways, where I've slept for the 30 minutes or I've stayed awake, but I've rested my body and let myself like spend that time to recuperate, and it's helped me feel so much better. So recharge if your energy is very low, right? If that's why you don't feel like doing it, let yourself take that nap. And then once you feel replenished, come back to it, and I bet you'll have way more motivation. Okay, so the next third situation is that you're very tired. You're feeling tired, right? But the task isn't that intense, or like you're not so tired that you really can't function, right? So really what's happening in this situation is you're kind of using maybe being tired as an excuse. Have you ever done that? I definitely have. I don't want to do it right now. I don't feel tired, right? Like it's so easy to say something like that, right? So what I want you to do is check in with yourself, right? Could you still get the task done at your current energy level? Maybe what you should do in this situation, this is the next strategy I have for you, is to eat or drink something, right? Because sometimes eating or drinking something will give you like that quick jolt of energy that you need that is just enough, just that extra little boost to help you actually move into the task, right? So let this be a reminder that if energy is truly the reason that is holding you back from getting the task done, it's why you don't feel like doing it, then take steps to replenish your energy, okay? You can do things. You can take a nap, you can eat something, you can drink something. It will refresh you, right? And you will actually find that you'll have more energy now because you took some time to recharge, so that you're actually going to be able to go longer, right? So you'll be able to get even more done, most likely. So sometimes spending a little bit of time, taking a break, is a really productive thing. Okay, so got something to do, don't feel like doing it. Next situation number 4, we're in here, is perhaps the reason you don't feel like it is because you feel overwhelmed by the task. Have you ever been in that situation, right? Where you've had something to do and you're like, I don't feel like doing it. But when you check in with yourself, you're like, actually, I feel really overwhelmed. Like I'm afraid to do the task. I'm like having resistance to the task, right? So in this situation, it usually indicates that you don't have reasonable expectations for the completion of the task. So you're afraid to do it. You're afraid to take action. And that's because it hasn't been broken down into the individual action steps. So in this case, if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed or afraid of doing a task, and that's why you don't feel like doing it, I want you to stop and pause, and I want you to write out the first 3 action steps that you would do if you were going to work on it. So I'm not saying you have to commit to working on it right now, but if you were going to do it, what would be the first thing you would do? And then what would be the next thing? And then the third thing, okay? So by taking that time and switching yourself into the mindset of doing the task without committing to doing the task, you're actually going to start to relieve the overwhelm that's in your mind, and you're really going to start to think a little bit more logically about the task, right? So the hope is that once you write these tasks out, you're going to feel much more inspired now, knowing that this isn't some big thing that's going to take you forever. You've broken it down into logical, simple steps, and you'll see, okay, I can get started on this now, right? It's not as scary as I thought, right? The overwhelm has subsided. The emotional part of your brain is letting go, and the logical reasoning side of your brain is saying, we can do this right now, right? So that is the next situation. But if you do that and you write out the 3 tasks and you find that you don't get inspired, then perhaps the resistance is still there because of the 5th situation, okay? So the 5th situation here that you could be in is that you just don't want to do the thing, right? Have you ever been that before? I just don't want to do it, which really just indicates that you've got some poor self-discipline. I know. I feel like discipline is the thing that people in the planning and productivity community don't talk about enough. It's like we don't want to say that bad word. But when we don't do the things we know we're supposed to do, that is a reflection of poor self-discipline. So if that is the case for you, this fifth situation, I have a whole bunch of strategies to help you overcome poor self-discipline. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 of them. Sorry, I've got notes in front of me on my computer. I'm just kind of ad-libbing it. But we have 6 strategies to help you to overcome poor self-discipline when you've got something you need to do, but you don't feel like doing it. Okay, so the first thing, and these are in no particular order, the first thing that you can do is call a friend to be an accountability buddy, okay? So some people actually really need accountability because they're very externally motivated. Like they're only motivated by the pressure of other people, like knowing that they have to do something. They have, when you have poor self-discipline, you have, a hard time keeping yourself motivated internally. So something you can do if you know that that's you is get an accountability buddy. Now, it would be great if you had someone ahead of time for some of the tasks in your life that you may resist doing, but something that I even do, and I'm not someone who generally struggles with being internally motivated. I don't normally need an accountability buddy, but something I will do in moments where I feel like I actually need it is I will call somebody up. Like usually I will call my sister and I will tell her, I'll be like, hey, there's this thing I need to do right now, but I'm avoiding it. And I need you to tell me to do it. And so then she'll be like, okay, what is it? Okay, what is it? What do you need to do? Okay, you got to do this, Alexis. It's for this, blah, blah, blah. They'll give you a pep talk. You know what I mean? They'll hold you accountable. And usually that helps switch me so that I will do it, right? I've essentially told on myself, right? I've gone to someone and been like, there's something I need to do and I'm not willing to do it. And they will kind of hold my feet to the fire a little bit, right? So that can be one strategy for someone who has poor self-discipline. The second strategy here is that I think you may benefit from changing the atmosphere wherever you are, right? At home, in your office, whatever. So put on some music that inspires you and motivates you, like something that pumps you up. That's another strategy that you could use to actually switch your state and get motivated to do the things. Also, maybe something like lighting a candle or, I have a bunch of these room sprays that I use to like refresh the room, or I'll put on perfume, or I will use an essential oil just to help me like get this new scent in my body, in my nostrils, right? And that motivates me. In fact, I actually keep on my desk a bunch of essential oils. And one of the essential oils I use is called Brainstorm, okay? And don't ask me what the notes are in this essential oil, but it smells very good. Sometimes I will roll it on my hands, right? And just take a nice big sniff. It smells so good. And like, is an essential oil going to help me brainstorm new ideas? Like, no, it's not like a magic tonic. But what definitely does happen is by changing the atmosphere, right? Changing something sensory that I'm experiencing right now changes my state internally. And that totally makes me feel like ready to do something, right? Like that totally makes me feel more relaxed, less resistance. I'm not putting up a fight to doing things just because of that simple change, okay? So that's another strategy you can use. Change the atmosphere somehow. Change the smell, change the way the room sounds, like put some music on. That may end up inspiring you to actually take action now. Going along with that example, the next strategy is changing your location. Okay, so maybe you are not feeling inspired and motivated in the office where you are right now, at the desk you are right now. Can you get up and move and relocate? Can you go somewhere else to work? Sometimes, what do they say? Change location, change luck. Like change location, change inspiration and motivation, right? Even I use this at home. I obviously have my own home office, but when I'm feeling like blah at my desk, I will just pick up my stuff and I will tote it downstairs, and I might, sit at the kitchen table, or I might sit on the couch, or even in the bedroom on my bed, right? Somewhere else. I'll just sit somewhere else, and that changes my state again, changing my location, changing my atmosphere, okay? So try that strategy. That may also help to motivate you. Next is to encourage yourself through self-talk and affirmations, okay? So if you are sitting there saying, I don't want to do this, I don't feel like doing this, maybe you don't feel like it, sure, but usually that sort of talk is actually reflective of like a deeper limiting belief. Something like, I don't feel like I'm worthy of, good things or whatnot. I don't feel like I'm a productive person. I feel like I'm lazy, like whatever other deep-seated thing you're hiding. Sometimes that I don't feel like I want to do it is the very apathetic way of hiding that sort of deep worthiness wound, you know, around taking action. And of course, taking action, you know, correlates to your success, right? Because we know our actions is what lead to us to have certain results and getting certain success. So a lot of times when we don't feel like doing something, it's because we're kind of hiding a limiting belief. So the easiest way, the quickest way, I have so many different strategies for overcoming limiting beliefs, but the easiest thing you can start right now with is, I want you to say to yourself, instead of, I don't want to do it, start with, and write this down, of course I'm going to do it. Of course I'm going to do it right now. Of course I'm going to do it. Just start saying that. And that is a very simple way to change your self-talk. Instead of saying, I don't want to do it, I don't feel like doing it. No. Of course I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it next. I'm going to do it immediately. Of course I'm going to do this. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Of course. It's a foregone conclusion, right? So just a switch like that in your self-talk can go miles and miles to helping you actually motivate yourself to do things that you don't want to do. This is one of the reasons why at the start of the year inside of the Charmed Life Mastermind, we actually, when we're going through our goal setting, we actually go and make an entire list of positive affirmations and self-talk that personally inspire us and specifically may speak to the goals that we've set for ourselves, so that we have this list, this running list of affirmations to turn to when we may find ourselves in a situation like this. And I think you guys have seen this inside of my planner as well. One of the first sections of my planner is my mindset work. And the first page of that is a whole bunch of affirmations, right? So use positive self-talk, use affirmations to help motivate you, pep talk you into doing the thing. The first and easiest thing you can say to yourself is, of course, I'm going to do this right now. Of course. Okay. So next strategy is to look at your vision board to remind you of who you are becoming this year and the reason why it's important for you to do the tasks you say you're going to do, right? So again, finding some motivation that you've already laid out for yourself, right? And of course, again, we've gone through this, that I also make a vision board every year and I keep it inside my planner. This is another activity we do inside of my Charmed Life Mastermind at the start of the year. We really set ourselves up with these tools that we need throughout the year to keep us motivated. And in the very front of my master planner for 2023 is a spread where you can fill out your own vision board, right? So if you're feeling like you just don't want to do it, sometimes turning to your vision board and reminding yourself of the person you are inside, that higher self version of you, the person you're becoming, those goals that you're working on, reminding yourself of that helps you to tap into your motivation to get the things done. Okay, and then the final strategy that you can use to help you get things done when you don't feel like doing it is to set a reward for yourself. Now, sometimes when we're actually sitting there and like we're saying we have something to do, but we don't feel like doing it, sometimes there's actually something else we want to do instead, like something fun. Like I want to go watch Netflix, or I want to read this book, or I want to listen to this podcast, or I want to watch this YouTube video, right? There's something else you feel like you want to do sometimes. So in our minds, sometimes we kind of get this all or nothing mentality that's like, I don't feel like doing this thing right now because what I feel like doing is this other fun thing, right? Now, just because you want to do that other fun thing does not stop you from doing the thing that you want to do, right? What you should actually do is take that motivation, right, of this is the thing I really want to do, and turn it into the reward for doing the task, right? So, when I finish doing this, of course, I'm going to do this thing next. And once I'm done doing it, then I get my reward of this thing I really want to do, right? Use the things that are as you coming into you as distractions and turn them into the rewards, the motivation to just finish the thing that you're supposed to do quickly and efficiently, and then you can move on to the fun thing. This is something I do all the time because, I work online. I often see things that I want to jump into, like videos or media or something else that I want to see and I want to look at right now, but I've got other work to do. So what I do is I just save it for later and I say, okay, once you're done this work, then you can go into it. And guess what? I go in and just very joyfully and quickly and efficiently get my work done. Like filming this video today. I actually have something fun I'm going to do after I film this video today, right? It's really actually early in the day for me to be doing this, filming this video. Usually I film later. But I told myself, get the video done early, and then we can do this fun thing we want to do. So use a reward. Set yourself a reward in order to get the things done that you don't feel like doing right now. Okay? So those are 10 strategies, 10 ways to motivate yourself to get things done when you don't feel like it, right? So now, if you feel like you struggle with this often, right? Like you feel like you struggle to get things done, and you have trouble motivating yourself, and you feel like this is leading you to feel like behind in life, you feel like you're not a productive person, I want you to know that this situation of poor self-discipline, right? This is only a temporary state, right? It's totally fixable. This is not like a permanent diagnosis, not having self-discipline. You can build self-discipline for yourself. And actually what we call it right inside of the Charmed Life Mastermind is self-mastery, right? The ability to motivate yourself and to create a sense of self-discipline for yourself, showing up as that person that you want to be time and time again, even when it's tough, right? Or even when you don't feel like it. That is the development of self-mastery. And we're absolutely obsessed with it in the Charmed Life Mastermind. It's a huge topic for us. And those of us within the community are really on this path to help develop our own sense of personal mastery so we can be that woman that we want to be, who does the things she says she's going to do and shows up the way that she says she wants to show up and achieves the goals that she sets for herself, right? So if you feel like you need support, you need more resources on this, you want more strategies on things like this, I welcome you to come join us in the Charmed Life Mastermind. We would be glad to have you, and we do so much of this sort of self-mastery work inside of the mastermind, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll leave you the link in the description for where you can learn more about the mastermind and enroll. And if enrollment isn't currently open, you can get yourself on the wait list, no problem. You'll be the first to know when enrollment does reopen, and snag yourself a spot inside of our little productivity community where we're all learning to show up as our best selves, right? Every single day together. So thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear from you which of these strategies you think you would find most helpful in your life. Leave me a comment, let me know. If you know anyone who would need this video and this information, go ahead and share it, right? Sharing is caring. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more of the behind the scenes of my productivity life and business, make sure you're following me on Instagram at MissTrenchcoat. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, bye-bye.